Hello. I hope you enjoy this short film, which looks at the timescale for the implementation of new digital guidelines being introduced by the Association of Equipment Manufacturers. John Summers, Vice President, Construction and Utility Sector at AEM, begins by explaining that these are living documents and encourages you all to start using them. He's joined by Mike Gomes, Vice President, Sustainability and Global Corporate Social Responsibility at Topcon Positioning Systems.
I truly believe that, over time, as equipment OEMs might say, hey, we were using a slightly different term, this is the industry de facto term right now or standard, like we can switch to this. I think it's also important for the folks that would be using these terms in the field, like the end users, project owners, people working in the specs, to start using these as well, because that's what really drives it back up the value chain. I don't know that there's an end goal of like, let's get these adopted, globally by a certain date, right? I think it's just our perspective of this is really just to have something to reference, start the conversation. If we learn that, things change over time, like if we look at the levels of autonomy one, there's currently 6 levels in there. Maybe at some point there'd be a 7th level, or 2 of those levels kind of merge because one goes away. I think, having these as a flowing conversation is really important. So, these are out there now. They've been out there for a few months. AEM had a event in Washington, D.C. at the National Mall, and I know a lot of these were referenced in those conversations, with the policymakers, with the general public, and all the above.
The best way that we've always referred to this is these enable us as an industry to all sing from the same music, right? The idea is an industry is a choir of voices, and these guidance documents basically help to coordinate the conversation, right? Now, the timing of that conversation is pretty good. This year, 2025, we've had a Bauma. Earlier in the year, we've got an Agritechnica coming up in the fall, and then on the heels of next spring with a CONEXPO, and so it's increasingly being able to foster this conversation amongst industry members. It's becoming more and more important.
From AEM's perspective, we can work with our members, to get their buy-in to this, and then you mentioned CONEXPO ConAg next spring. We have our Show Utility Expo coming up this fall. It's getting that message out and just watching it grow word of mouth across that way, right? If we just told our members or just your audience, right? That only goes so far. So I think, for our members to push it out to their customers, maybe we'll share this with dealers and all the above, and then we'll just watch that, continue to multiply.
Thanks, John. For a deeper dive into these new guidelines, please do watch our roundtable discussion. John and Mike sat down for an extended conversation with the editor of Global Highways, Mike Wolf.